You're locked into Elevated Radio FM. Radio FM. Radio.
And welcome to Elevated Radio. My name is Rick Delgado. I'm your host, and welcome to your childbirthing options with our guest, Sisley Auer. She is the owner of Childbirth Options, LLC. She's based out of Wesley Chapel, Florida. I asked her this last time where it was. She said it's over by Tampa. And then I was like, now I know exactly where you're talking about. But that's not their only location. We'll go into that more when we get her on the line. Let me just let you know that you can reach out to her either directly or through the website. The website, cbowc.com. That's cbowc.com. That is the website for our guest. You can also reach out to her at 813-381-6430. Again, Sisley Auer, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Oh, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good.
Well, welcome back. I know we spoke once before, but that was a little while ago. Before we get started for today, how about we kind of do a reset, let everybody know exactly what you do as the owner of Childbirth Options. Again, with a few locations, not only in the greater Tampa Bay area, but you've got Miami-Dade County as well, right?
Yeah, that's where we started. In 2005 is when we opened up Childbirth Options in Miami, Florida. It started off with just childbirth education and being a support person for pregnant women. And then I got licensed as a midwife, and me and my preceptor, Miriam Maldonado, partnered up and opened up Childbirth Options midwifery services in Miami.
Right.
And then, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, so now take us through what exactly is what is Childbirth Options?
Well, Childbirth Options is basically like exactly what it says, is me as a midwife giving women options during their pregnancy, during their birthing options, as well as postpartum and newborn care. They have the option to deliver at home, a birthing center, or at a hospital.
All right. So you're a midwife service.
Correct. We are a midwife service, and we also offer doula services and education.
Okay. And you know what? I was going to ask you about that because I've heard of the word doula used for birthing as well. How are you different? How's a midwife different than a doula?
So a doula is a person that supports a woman in helping with her options during pregnancy and delivery. And then during labor and delivery is basically an advocate, a voice to basically tell the mother, in case they don't know medical terminology, when a doctor's talking to her in a hospital, like what her options are. Like she can continue doing this naturally, she can just get an epidural, she can get in the water. It just depends on the location. And then also a doula gives like massage and basically helps the mom also learn how to nurse, things like that, and aftercare. But then a midwife is the medical aspect of it. So we're just like doctors, but we have a more holistic approach.
Right.
And we're also very personal with the mom. Like we give them an hour appointment instead of like a doctor, you're waiting an hour and seeing the doctor for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it sounds like you make people wait 5 minutes and get to spend an hour with them, so that's not a bad trade.
Exactly. I'm the opposite. You wait 5 minutes and spend an hour with me.
Right, exactly. Now, okay, so you're more of, say, the doctor's side of things. The doula is more of a kind of a support role, right?
Correct. Correct. Now, midwives do the support role as well,
right?
Because if in the event of a transfer, or the mom becomes high risk, we don't want to just say, okay, you're going to a doctor. So now we follow them through with the doctor. We even go with them to the doctor's appointments because they're not comfortable with the doctor since they wanted to come to us at first. And then after the baby's born, we actually spend time with the mother. Like I go a little bit above and beyond the more midwife.
Right.
Like I'll give you an example. I had a mom that she couldn't nurse, and she was getting depressed, and she was like, I can't do this anymore. So I actually went to her house, cooked her some dinner, made sure she ate a lot of food so that way she could produce milk. I took care of the baby while she got some hours of sleep.
Right.
And then that way when she woke up, she's like, oh, my God, those 3 hours I got extra made a hell of a difference.
Right.
So that's what a midwife does. We care more. We want to make sure that they get the optimum care that they can possibly get.
Right. Now, so on the medical side of things, does that mean you need to have a medical background? Do you need to be, qualified as a nurse or an RN? You know what I mean?
No, so we have actual, my school is no longer open. I went to Miami-Dade College, and it's a 3-year program. It's basically an accelerated version of becoming a nurse midwife without having to be a nurse. So we did 3 years of schooling. We had to do 125 births. We had to do like 500 prenatals, 500 postpartums, 50 newborns. Basically learn what just pregnancy and postpartum and GYN in general is. Mm-hmm. So we just learned the specialty instead of learning everything and then specializing.
Right. All right. So now take me through the process when somebody contacts you for the first time. Because,
okay.
A lot of people, let's face it, especially if it's their first child, maybe
right.
they don't, maybe they've moved, they grew up, somewhere else in the country. Now they're in this part of the country where you are,
Correct.
and they don't have that support system, which is very important, when you enter this part of your life where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to bring a child into this world. It's just me and my partner, and now this baby's going to make 3, so to speak. And mom and everybody else lives across the country. Oh, send us pictures. Wonderful. But you're not here for the good stuff. Now, how do you go about, making sure that person, when they come in, they understand exactly what's going to be entailed? I guess trust is a big thing, right?
Correct. Trust is a big number one thing. So the first thing we do when they call us is we ask them to come in for a free consult, where they ask all the questions to make sure that we are a good fit for their care.
Right.
So I'm a big believer in connection, because this is a very intimate, private moment when you're delivering a baby. So they have to feel very confident and comfortable with the person that they're going to pick.
Right.
So when they come in, they ask all their questions, and then at the end, I always tell them, I want you to interview all the midwives in the area. And then they always ask me, but why? I like you. Because if you don't have a connection, let's say right now you have a connection with me, but I'm the only person you've met.
Right.
So then I want you to interview 2, 3, 4 midwives. That way you can interview all of them. And if that connection is bigger than what you felt today, I want you to pick her. I don't want you to just pick me.
Right.
Because at the moment of time when you want to deliver that baby and you feel a little bit scared that you don't know if you picked the right one, then you pick the wrong midwife.
Yeah.
So it's all about connection. It's all about trust. It's all about making sure that you're feeling 100% confident of who you picked as a midwife in the beginning.
Right. Now, how early should someone come in?
I see people as early as 5 weeks.
Really?
And then but majority of my clients usually is in the middle of the pregnancy, because they've met the doctor. They get mad because they've been waiting in the waiting room for so long that they decide to switch because they hear, oh my God, this is so much better, so much personal, and things like that. So but I see them as soon as 5 weeks, and give them all the information they need for the first trimester so they can avoid having any type of miscarriages or any type of scares in the first trimester. And then we just keep going, just like this normal schedule, like a doctor's office, where we see them once a month, and then until 28 weeks, then every 2 weeks until 37 weeks, and then once a week until due date. Now, obviously, not everybody gives birth on their due date. So then we also we start seeing them every 3 days after they pass their due date to make sure that everything's still okay and healthy so she can continue pregnancy.
Right.
Now, once she hits 42 weeks, that's when she's considered high risk. We would transfer to our backup physician, and then they will take over the care, and we'll have a hospital birth, unfortunately. But like I said before in the last show, is safety first.
Oh, yeah.
Our big motto is healthy mom, healthy baby.
Right.
So I rather make sure that both mom and baby come home than just one.
Okay, because now you've kind of explained something that I didn't understand.
Right.
And I think this probably might open up some other people's eyes as to the benefits of a midwife versus doing the doctor. So you can actually say, you know what, like you prefaced it. They went, they found out they were pregnant. They went and they met a few doctors. They didn't like them.
Right.
They didn't like the process.
Right.
So they can actually stop seeing a doctor and come and see you, as opposed to say, "Oh, I didn't understand. I thought it was just part of it." But no, this takes the negative doctor experience out of it.
We replace the doctor completely unless they become high risk.
Gotcha.
Once they become high risk, then the doctor gets involved. There is like low risk, which is what we see.
Right.
Then there's middle risk, and then there's high risk. If they're middle risk, means that there's a chance that they could go back to low risk.
Right.
So we do a collaborating agreement with the physician where they see us both until she's cleared to stay at low risk and come back to me. Now, in the middle risk too, if she's not doing what's their part, or her body's just not reacting well to the treatment, and she goes high risk, then she goes straight to the doctor.
Right.
Now, but I always tell my patients, just because you go to the doctor doesn't mean that you stop seeing me, because I want to be able to help you still. So then I still go above and beyond and make sure that if, let's say, the doctor didn't answer their questions, because even though they're high risk and they go to the doctor, they still give them 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So then some of their questions are not answered. So
Right.
they still call me like, oh, I just saw the doctor. You know, I was there for like 10 minutes, but I wanted to ask questions. I'm like, okay, ask me.
Right.
And if I can't answer them, I'll call the doctor and bug him and then get the answer and call you back.
Right. And I'm sure it's probably not even that nice. It's probably like, I went to the doctor. He's a jerk. He didn't answer any of my questions.
Right.
Not to,
Unfortunately, the doctors, it's just that they see like 100 patients a day.
right.
I see 12
Right.
if I have a 12-hour day.
Right.
You know, I'm basically an hour open for every hour for every patient I'm with. So that's the difference. That's the reason why some people want to come to us, is because we give a personable approach
Right.
for care. And we pretty much become like family, because, you know, you spend an hour every appointment, and at the end you go to their house, you start mingling with their family.
Right.
Everybody says, they're like, yeah, she's a part of the family now.
Yeah, and you're actually there for the birth, right?
Correct. So the minute they start contracting, if they need me there, from the minute they feel the first contraction, I go over and make sure that everything's okay, explain to her what's going to happen, and then I stay with her until the baby's born. And then once the baby's born, I do their first physical, I do their first weight check, their blood work, everything that a hospital does, but just in a home setting.
Right.
And then we stay with the mom up to anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on what's going on after the birth.
Gotcha.
And then we come back the next day after the baby's born to file the birth certificate, the Social Security card. If they have insurance, to activate the baby on the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then we make sure that she has a set-up appointment with the pediatrician within the 48 hours. Obviously, if the baby's born Friday night, nobody's open until Monday.
Right.
So we'll still call the doctor and be like, "Can you see him on Monday?" And then the doctor's like, "All right, just call in the morning. I'll put a note saying that the baby was born Friday night, so that way they don't like flip out in the office, because the baby has to be seen within 48 hours."
Right. Okay. You know what? That's a lot of great information. I had no idea it was there was that much involved in it, and that raises a bunch of other questions as well. And it also kind of makes me think back to, you know, when I hear my mom talk about, you know, when she was born, trying to figure out, you know, her birth certificate said one thing, her mom was saying another, and it's like, well, when the heck were you born? She's like, well, you know, I was in the house.
Back in the day, everything
Yeah.
was done on paper. Like, now it's a little bit more efficient because we do everything electronic.
And not only that, then they had to walk to go get it registered. So it could be a week. It's like, wait, what day was that kid born? Oh, it was last week, last Tuesday, I think.
Right.
It's a lot of
5
time.
days to register.
Right. Yeah, it's like, what the heck? All right. Well, you know, that was the old days. This is the new days. Again, we're talking with our guest. She is the owner over at Childbirth Options, actually doing a lot of, filling my head with great information. I had no idea about a lot of this stuff. Sizzly Hour is her name. If you want to reach out to her, again, you can go to the website, cbowc.com. That's the letter C is in childbirth, B is in birth, O is in options, WC.com, cbowc.com, or you can give them a call directly as well. Their phone number, all their contact info is right there on the website, 813-381-6430. We'll take a quick break and come back. More with her after these words right here on Elevated Radio.
The next step to following your dreams is closer than you think. KDMA and the Actors Studio is an established, reputable talent management and services agency based on the East Coast. Actors, models, singers, voiceover artists, and live entertainers trust their careers with KDMA. Not only does KDMA advise and market talent, they provide talent with the necessary tools to be successful in today's demanding entertainment industry, offering in-house classes, coaching, photo and video services, reel and audio production, showcases, seminars, and more. KDMA makes talent development and advancement simple and affordable. For more information about talent representation and services at KDMA and the Actor Studio, visit KDMA-and-theactorstudio.com. That's KDMA-and-theactorstudio.com. Let KDMA take your career to the next level.
A lot can happen in 6 seconds. A rodeo ride, a dramatic basketball win, and the world record holder can solve a Rubik's Cube. 6 seconds is how long it takes for an 18-wheeler traveling at a safe speed to come to a complete stop. And in those 6 seconds, that truck will travel the length of 2 football fields. So please, give them room. Never cut in front of a large truck for any reason. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
You're locked into Elevated Radio FM. Radio FM. Radio.
And welcome back to Elevated Radio again. My name is Rick Delgado. I'm your host, and welcoming you back to Your Childbirthing Options with our guest Sisley Auer. Again, Sisley is the owner at Childbirth Options LLC. They've got a couple locations in the greater Tampa and Miami-Dade, Florida areas. She's got other locations that I know she's talking about opening up, so keep in mind those as well. You can also reach out to her either by phone or through the website. The website, cbowc.com. That's C as in child, B as in birth, O as in options, WC.com, or give them a call directly as well at 813-381-6430. And again, Sisley, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
And again, it's been an eye-opening conversation this the past 15 minutes, because I've learned a lot more than I ever realized about the role of midwives, what you do versus what a doula might do, and again, versing that with what I think we all kind of know is, the way doctors handle things. It's like, hey, you come in, they check you, hey, you're looking good, Mom, send you on your way after a couple minutes. But this is a way more in-depth. You're way more involved. As you said, even people regard you as part of the family after a while, right?
Correct. Yeah. We become really close after, like, I get invited to all their birthdays, and, and then if her sister gets pregnant, then I become, like, the family midwife.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Now, talk to me about the other options, because I'm poking around on your website here, Sisley, and I see, I see the mention of being at home. I see some couple in a pool, like a kiddie pool kind of thing. I know it's not a kiddie pool. I know it's probably something more suited.
More elaborate.
More elaborate, more suited for that. What are some of the options for people these days that they can take advantage of when it comes to birthing their child?
Okay, so at least at my practice, we do home births. And then obviously there's some patients that are not fully in yet to do a home birth. So then we collaborate with our backup physician. So we do the prenatal care, and then they can deliver at a hospital. But at home, it's not just like a regular birth. People are like, well, where do I give birth? On the bed? On the kitchen counter, on the dinner room table? I'm like, hey, if that makes you feel comfortable, sure.
Right.
But most of my clients prefer the water birth. So the pool that we use, there's like 3 different pools. There's one that's called the birth pool in a box. They're all inflatable pools, but it's a tub size that can fit up to 3 adults inside the pool. Obviously, 3 of them are not in the pool. Sometimes it happens, like, where dad's in the pool, mom's in the pool, and then she's like, I can't do it.
Right.
And then I end up getting in the pool with them. And like, look at me. We got to deliver this baby. Either deliver in the water or outside the water. We just got to do it.
Wow.
But there's the birth pool in a box is one of the pools. The other one is called La Bassine, and the other one is called the Oasis pool.
Okay.
And basically it's just the brand. They're all basically the same oval shape. They do have a little chair inside the pool that's inflatable where they can sit on. They also have handles on the outside and the inside to use to bear down when it's time to push.
Right.
So it's a very comfortable pool environment, and the water is body temperature up to 100 to 203 degrees, depending on how hot the mom wants it.
Okay. Now, is there anything added to the water, or is it just regular water? Just you know what I mean?
No, it's regular hot water.
Okay.
That's all it is. Now, I have had patients, depending, again, it's all about the patient's want, but they're like, oh, I want something in the water.
Right.
So the only thing that's safe to put in the water would be colloidal silver, so to prevent infection, and essential oils like lavender or, anything like that, so that way she has the smells around it. But we don't actually
Right.
put it in the water, the oils. We just put it surrounding, so the heat kind of diffuses the oil that's on the side.
Gotcha. All right. So because I know lavender adds that relaxation feeling, right?
Correct. Right. Yeah.
All right. So they're in the water now. Like you said, there's options, and I see the picture on your website specifically for the man to be in there as well.
Correct.
Is there? Have you run into? Because that would concern me. It's like, I don't want my baby to drown. Because I know some of these births, it's not, push once, boom, baby, here you go. It takes a little while.
Right. Average first-time mom can take up to an hour to push.
Right.
The longest I've ever been at a birth that they pushed was like 2 hours. But they don't drown in the water because inside the belly they're in water. So it's actually a better transition when the baby comes out from the belly to the water because it's not being traumatized to take a first breath right away.
Right.
So it basically squeezes out all the amniotic fluid out of the lungs when it comes out of the mom, and then it goes into the water, still breathing because it's attached to the umbilical cord. And then when it comes outside, it takes its time to breathe, but he's already pinking up or she's already pinking up because it's like a less traumatic experience for the baby.
Right. Now what about the trauma for the mom? Because again, this is kind of a big deal. The body suffers from things, right?
I've delivered over 3,000 babies.
Uh-huh.
And not all here in the U.S. Like, as you can see on my website, I've been around the world. I've been to Honduras, Colombia, and New Zealand, and we did clinicals there. And the process of birthing naturally with a midwife, I'm going to say with a midwife because it's a little bit different when you do it unassisted and stuff like that. But a midwife basically tells the mom and reminds the mom to relax. Tension is what makes the pain. So when we tell our moms, just try to relax, take a deep breath,
right,
and then we just literally put our hands on them, like on the shoulder or on their back, that human touch, that basically makes them feel like, okay, she's here. I can feel her. She's relaxed. And then all of a sudden, just her by feeling like she's into the whole thing because I'm just there holding her,
right,
makes her just relax and dilate and give birth at ease.
All right. That's very, very, very interesting stuff. And again, you kind of opened my eyes into some of the ways or the way that this actually works. And again, it's an option that I think a lot more people are looking for these days, right, Sisley?
Yeah, they are. Like my business has boomed a lot in the past years. At first, it was slow, and then I'll tell you what woke up everybody to do it. Ricky Lake made a video or a movie called Business of Being Born because Ricky Lake also had a hospital birth,
right? And
then she chose a midwife for her second birth, and that opened her eyes, and she wanted to basically let everybody know that this is an option.
Right.
So then that started booming the natural home birth center route. But then more people are realizing that doctors are just in it for, unfortunately, the money. That's why her movie's called Business of Being Born.
Right.
Because there's even a part in the movie that says the hospitals rotate tables like restaurants rotate tables. So it's like they want them in and out. They put all this medicine in them. Unfortunately, if it doesn't go the way that they thought it would go, the C-section rates are going higher.
Right.
So a lot of women are not trying to get cut.
Yeah.
They're trying to have their perfect bodies still. And so they rather have a natural birth. And once you give birth at home, I have moms up and walking and taking showers and talking to their family within an hour.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would seem that, something like that, whether you're, I guess, in the water or just at home, seems to be less traumatic overall for the mom as well.
Correct. It's less traumatic because the mother does what her body's telling her to do.
Right.
She listens to her body. In the hospital, everybody's the same. So, like, if you're Joe or you're Maria, you're getting the same treatment, even if you're high or low risk.
Right.
You're going to get on the bed, you're going to get monitored, you're going to get IV fluids, Pitocin. Oh, you're not dilating, you're going to get cut open.
Right.
That's basically the protocol for every hospital right now.
Right.
And that's the thing. And then if there's a mom that has an option at the hospital, they're fighting tooth and nail to get the birth that they want.
Right.
But at the same time, there's so much tension that it's still traumatizing for them.
Yeah. And
Like every person that's had a baby before and comes to me for the second baby, that's the first thing they say, I do not want to go back to the hospital. It was a traumatic experience.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times, I think women are trying to do the more natural childbirth through the hospital. And then all of a sudden, maybe they find out, this hurts more than I thought. They weren't prepared. They didn't have a midwife working with them.
Right.
So they're not really prepared for what's involved and I guess the pain level. And then they want to demand, drugs, but by then it's too late.
Correct. And at the same time, you also don't get the support behind it. Like the doctors are not going to be like, sure, you can try 100% natural. They're going to be like, trust me, I've seen so many, you're never going to do it.
Right.
So then they're already like putting that doubt in that mother's
Yeah.
head. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned that you're not only there, for the birth, but you're also there after the birth, right?
Correct. We are there for after the birth.
Yeah, and taking care
we
of.
still see the patient up to 6 weeks postpartum.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and that's important too because there's always that chance of postpartum depression setting in too, right?
Correct. So I'm going to say like 15 years ago, there was a big case. The patient's name was Andrea Yates, all over the internet and stuff like that. She awoke everybody that postpartum depression is real.
Right.
So unfortunately, she was way past depression to psychosis that she ended up killing all her 5 kids. So we try to make sure that we're there for them 24, 48 hours, a week, 2 weeks, whenever they need us. And then we talk about it a lot during the end of pregnancy and once the baby's born. And we talk it a lot to the husband. Because I'm like, you know your wife more than anybody else.
Right.
Correct? So, like, if she's a bubbly person and all of a sudden she's, like, moping around, that's not her.
Yeah.
So we always tell them that, Dad, you know your wife more than anybody else. Or if they have a different type of partner, you know that person very well. So you need to make sure that if you don't see your bubbly wife acting the way she is, please call me.
Right.
And then we do assessments, make sure that they're getting the assessments correctly. And then we also have a team that can come over and do a more in-depth assessment to make sure she is in depression mode or almost there, or if she passed it. And then we get her treatment at home.
Right.
We don't have to take her to the hospital or Baker Act or anything like that. We want her to keep with the baby, unless she's thinking harming herself or the baby. There's no reason to take her out of home.
Right.
But we do try to get what's called a support system, because it takes a village to actually raise a child. It doesn't just take you and your wife. So if she's telling me, well, I'm just overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me, why are you overwhelmed? Well, because I deal with a lot of, I'm Latin. So I deal with a lot of Latin community because I am Latin. I'm the only Spanish-speaking midwife in Tampa.
Right.
So in our culture, we're told we have to clean the house, cook, and maintain the house while the husband goes to work.
Right.
So imagine you just had a baby. You're at home. You're not even 24 hours out of having a baby. And she's like, well, I have to clean. I have to cook.
Right.
And I have to breastfeed a baby. And I have to take care of myself. It gets overwhelming. So then I give them certain instructions like, you're not allowed to cook or clean or anything for 5 days. And she's like, why? I'm like, why? Because you just had a baby. It took 10 months to make this baby. It
Right.
takes 10 months to recover. The house will be there no matter what, to just rest and just enjoy your baby.
Right.
But I have those patients that don't have that mentality of okay, I'll just take care of my baby and myself. So then I end up basically doing pop-up visits without telling them, and I'm like, why are you out of bed? And they're like, I was just getting something to eat.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, right. Your mom's here. She could have brought it to you. So we want to make sure that they also have a good support system once after the baby's born.
Right.
So we make sure that she's resting for 5 days and someone's looking after for 5 days. Now, I have had those patients that don't have anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So then I do it.
Right.
I go over there and make sure that she gets the care that she needs.
All right. Well, you know what? It sounds like you're there from beginning, middle, and end. Really,
Right.
to make sure that the not only that the pregnancy goes well, the birth goes well, but also, after the birth and getting mom and the family back to normal, so to speak, goes well, because that can be a trying time as well, and again,
Right.
opens up aspects that you never really realize that goes into this. We've been talking with our guest, Sisley Auer. She is the owner of Childbirth Options. As you can tell, she knows her stuff. She's been doing this for a while. They have a couple locations of Childbirth Options LLC in the greater Tampa area, as well as Miami-Dade County, where they got their start. CBOWC.com. That's C as in child, B as in birth, O as in options. WC.com is the website. You can also give them a call directly. Contact them through that website, 813-381-6430. You can poke around, find some great information on the website. Or if you've got questions, just reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And again, they offer a 24/7 helpline. You can, reach out to them, make a comment to them via their email on the website. Lots of great information. And again, Sisley, thank you so much for joining us today. That was an eye opener.
Anytime. Oh, great.
All right. Well,
I like educating people, so I'm glad that your listeners and yourself learned something new today.
yeah, I learned a bunch. Believe me. Whew. Okay. Well, you have a great day. Thank you again. We'll be back with more on Elevated Radio right after these words.
You're locked into Elevated Radio FM. Radio FM. Radio